Will boycotting men help women obtain rights? We'll find out after the break.
College is already expensive for most. Is a tariff about to make finances more difficult? Let's find out when we come back.
Public transportation is meant to help the people, but some believe it is starting to become a burden. Find out more after the break.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communications at San Jose State University, your source for what's happening with a fresh perspective on today's issues. You're watching Update News.
Welcome to Update News. I'm Madison Wilbur.
And I'm Sophie Cipriano.
Now we're starting today's broadcast with some breaking news. Earlier today, the Bay Area experienced a magnitude 7 earthquake with some aftershocks that were hitting magnitudes up to 4 and 5. This is shocking to me.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. We haven't had an earthquake hit the Bay like that in a while.
In quite some time. I mean, the shocks that were felt across the Bay Area. And the Bay Area and some cities in Oregon were also under a tsunami warning. But thankfully, that has since been canceled. The advisory stating that there is no danger presently existing in those areas.
What you are seeing on your screen is a live shot of Santa Cruz following the earthquake. With the results of the U.S. presidential election, women have turned to social media to follow a movement that began in South Korea. Find out why women in the United States are adopting this movement with our reporter, Michelle Shantez.
The 4B movement, or the 4 No's, originated in South Korea in the late 2010s. The 4 B's stand for no sex, no dating, no marrying men, and no children. After the U.S. presidential election results, women have turned into adopting the exact same movement. Professors at SJSU mentioned that this can be a way of taking back control.
Our bodily freedoms are being, outright attacked. So it's a way to, in the sort of immediate, take control or feel like you're taking control.
The 4B movement is gaining more traction in the United States. Some individuals believe that most women won't take part in the movement with the rights they already have.
I don't think this movement is gonna blow up anyway, but while there's like constant growing feminist wave, the extreme stance of this movement might not resonate like broadly.
Many women still hope that it can empower women further and gain more knowledge.
Hope with this movement, it does bring in a lot of awareness and education towards women and inspires them to speak up about their rights.
As the movement gains momentum, it is not determined whether women will follow the 4B movement and the change it could bring. In San Jose, Michelle Sanchez, Update News.
Now, as we know, electronics serve as a useful tool for student success in college. President-elect Donald Trump proposes a raise in tariffs for electronic goods once he's in office. Reporter Angela Nguyen has more on this story.
Electronic goods help students access course materials and connect with their peers and professors. Students have thoughts on how raised prices for electronic goods can impact their learning outcomes. This is Nathan Fiao. He is an education student at SJSU who takes online courses.
Everything's being constantly updated to where I can't be constantly getting textbooks, so the resources I'll be getting is usually online.
Al believes that investing in a laptop for school is already difficult as is. With raised prices for electronics, Al fears that there will be more financial struggles for low-income families to purchase technology. 70% of students reported that accessibility to laptops helped them achieve academic goals, according to Harvard University. Paul Nguyen is an art design student at SJSU who utilizes his iPad for school.
If I were to have to pay more, I don't think I'd be able to, sustain myself as I do now.
Nguyen emphasizes that other students may not be able to afford the steep prices. He understands that other students like him may worry about expenses for bills and household items as well. Others at SJSU believes that loan laptops from school are not sufficient enough to support students' education.
If we have some kind of grant from the federal government, from the state government, we can provide them individual kind of like laptop.
Agner hopes that there will be more funds available for students to cover purchasing their own electronics for school. In San Jose, Angela Nguyen, Update News.
Public transportation is supposed to be accessible and affordable to the general public. I went out to find out how raising ticket prices affects the community. This is Bay Area Rapid Transit, commonly referred to as BART. It is a popular mode of transportation used across the Bay Area. BART stretches from Antioch to Millbrae and from Richmond to Berryessa.
It connects the Bay Area and serves as a pivotal mode of transportation for many residents. BART has decided to implement an 11% increase on riders. The first part of the increase began in January with a 5.5% fare increase. The second part of the increase is set to hit January 1st, 2025.
We've spread this increase over 2 years. The last time we raised fares was a year ago, and now the second part is happening now. The idea there is to lessen the blow to riders, to spread it out so it's a little more palatable for folks.
BART is facing a possible $35 million budget deficit in the 2026 fiscal year and a $385 million deficit in 2027. The rise in fares is a response to the possible deficit. Over 25,000 people use BART during peak commute hours, and there are many people who use BART daily. Some BART users feel that the fare price increase might backfire on them.
It'll make people stray away from BART just because at some point it'll get more and more expensive to the point where people won't want to pay it.
Around 16% of SJSU students use BART in their commute, according to the SJSU Associated Students Transportation Solutions Fall 2023 survey.
I think it'll definitely mostly affect commuters, especially at SJSU that use it to get to school.
BART states that it is looking at many different ways to increase revenue amidst its financial crisis. After the full price increase takes effect, we will see how it affects riders financially and BART's ridership numbers.
You know, this is an important topic. I have a lot of family members that take public transportation purposely so that it's a little less expensive. I know when I go to fill up my gas tank, I think I cry a little.
So do I. My gas tank is upwards of $80 to fill. That's
just about every time, right?
Yeah, Those price increases are crazy. Anyways, we'll have more when we come back.
As promised, we have the update on which of the Alum Rock School District schools have been shut down. Tune in when we come back.
A new decision from Valley Water may force some unhoused residents to change encampment spots at the height of this year's flood season. More on that coming up.
Is it going to be rainy? Is it going to be sunny? What's the weather going to be? We'll take a look when we come back.
Live with us today, our reporter Gabriel Evans has the update to his last week's story concerning which Alum Rock School District schools will be shutting down. Gabe, what do you have for us?
The Alum Rock School District announced the final list of schools that will be closed down at a special board meeting on Monday. I attended the meeting to find out more. The Board of Trustees for the Alum Rock School District held a public board meeting where it voted on the final motion to cease operations of multiple school campuses. After a series of recommendations, the board came to a consensus to close 6 schools instead of the intended 7. The schools that will be officially closed are the following: Cassell Elementary, Cureton Elementary, Mayer Elementary, Dorsa Elementary, George Middle, and Renaissance Fisher Academy. There will also be mergers between existing schools to accommodate the lesser number of school closures. Parents and teachers expressed their thoughts as the board meeting continued.
If we don't have those schools, if we close more schools, our kids are going to be on the streets, and we don't need kids on the street, we need kids on schools.
Superintendent Serda released a statement in response to the board's decision. This decision is one of the most difficult we face as a district, but it is guided by our commitment to providing the best possible education for every student. I see an opportunity to reimagine Alum Rock as a district that's leaner and more focused on student success.
About the school closures, I'm feeling a little bit anxious, I think, like all parents. You know, we feel a level of uncertainty with what's happening.
Many were upset as the Board of Trustees engaged with the public to address the community's concerns about the final decision.
They're going to have to adjust in a new way to new educators, new administrators, new school sites. Parents would be impacted because of transportation, and many of the students in the elementary rely heavily on their parents.
The Board of Trustees hope to use this opportunity to revamp the school district for years to come. The funds saved from the closures will allow the district to avoid large deficits in the future. Live in San Jose, Gabriel Evans, Update News.
Water Valley voted to abate and possibly fine unhoused residents away from its waterways. Let's find out how this decision will affect unhoused residents after the holidays with reporter Alina Ta.
I'm standing in the Guadalupe River, and right now it looks quite empty. But during the height of the rainy season, water can rise much higher and closer to those tents behind me. On November 26, Valley Water's board of directors voted to abate and possibly fine unhoused residents hundreds of dollars if they choose not to move further away from its waterways and creeks. Vanessa Rendon is an unhoused resident who has been living next to the Guadalupe River for around a year. She lives here in this tent with her boyfriend and her dog Security.
So when you're have nowhere else to go, you kind of like are forced to just stay because you have nowhere else to go.
The purpose of these abatements is to address concerns with environmental conservation, employee safety, and issues related to the annual flood season. Managers from Valley Water's staff spoke up during a meeting to share how some of their employees are scared to approach the unhoused community.
They announced themselves. They said, Valley Water, we're here to conduct water district business. The response they got was, get out of here, or I'm going to hurt you.
Vanessa agrees that safety is a concern for the unhoused community during flood season. She lost her belongings in a flood 5 years ago.
I just saw my stuff floating in the water because I couldn't get to it fast enough.
However, many advocates are still advising the board to do the abatements later in the spring season.
It's easier for that person to find where they're going to sleep the next night in sunny and dry weather.
Valley Water says it will start preparing to abate unhoused residents the day after Christmas. However, LinkedIn, who is in contact with Valley Water, along with multiple advocates, say the water provider will most likely start doing abatements and possibly finding unhoused residents in mid-January. In San Jose, Alina Ta, Update News.
Now, with today's earthquake and tsunami advisory as a prime example, inconsistent weather can cause a major inconvenience for community members in cities along the Pacific coast. Reporter Justin Ray went to find out just how prepared the communities are for the rainy season.
With rain approaching, conditions for coastal communities can often get severe. Wind speeds have reached around 40 miles per hour in Santa Cruz County so far this year, according to WeatherSpark. As you can see, weather conditions in Santa Cruz can be rather inconsistent, but when wind speeds get high, trees just like the one behind me can be destroyed, sending debris all over the area.
It's a change of season that happens when it goes from being able to hang out outside in front on the balcony, check out the stars and hang out with friends and have a drink. Now we actually have to winterize our front patios.
Many people visit Santa Cruz for the sunshine and the beaches. In the winter, those visitors may want to make sure they are fully prepared.
If you're going to come over the hill and hang out, make sure you have like a hoodie, maybe even like an extra blanket in your car.
Although weather can be a burden, some members of the community refuse to let that keep them from their dream.
For me, one of the things is I've always wanted to live by the ocean, so part of that is realizing like what comes with that.
The county has taken action to ensure that the community can get the help that they need when disaster strikes.
We created after CCU a recovery permit center, so that just focuses on folks that need building permits to recover from a disaster.
For more information and assistance from the Santa Cruz County Recovery Center, head on over to their website. In Santa Cruz, I'm Justin Ray, Update News.
Wow, a lot of weather-related stories this week. Yeah, I guess weather's been pretty prevalent in the news today.
That's for sure, and I know the only thing I'm concerned about is how freaking cold it is, okay? I'm ready for the Cali sun to come back, but we've got more for you. Let's take a look at your weather forecast with Alexis Marquez. I said freaking.
I'm Alexis Marquez. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. We're going to have some dry weather continuing, weekend changes and clearing and breezy. To start off this December, we're going to see that dry weather and some patchy fog at times, slightly above average temperatures into the weekend. Our best chance for some showers may arrive by Saturday. All throughout North Bay and North Coast locations will have the best chances, as most of the rain will stay focused to the north and the Pacific Northwest. Plan on clouds coming in to increase in slightly cooler temperatures from the coast to the inner bay, including Santa Cruz and Oakland, as highs remain in the 60s for the 7-day outlook. Let's see if that crazy weather is in our Santa Cruz. Nope, looks like we're good for this week, as we're in the mid to low 60s, and we even get some high 60s there at the end, Saturday and Sunday. Oakland's going to look about the same, with clouds across the board into that mid 60s. Next, we're going to be looking at San Francisco. We'll be in the mid to low 60s for this one, a little bit of clouds, and San Jose is going to have your best weather this week with our low 70s, mid 60s. Sounds perfect to me. That's been your 7-day forecast. Back to the desk.
Also coming up, make sure you stick around. We got your update news sports wrap coming up shortly.
Now that Caltrain has retired their diesel locomotives, what is to become of them? We'll find out when we come back.
It's the season of giving, but will inadequate funds take away San Jose's Christmas in the park? We'll find out after the break.
The semester is coming to a close and there is a lot to be proud of. More on that coming up. Now let's see what's happening in the world of sports with our reporter, Tyler Flipson.
Thanks, guys. Welcome to your Update News Sports Wrap. Let's go ahead and get into it. We got a lot to cover. Let's go ahead and get started with women's volleyball. We previewed them last week when they're headed on to the Mountain West Championship, where they are taking on Colorado State. They had 10 days of rest going into that championship. This is their second appearance in 3 years. But so through that appearance, they battled, and they battled hard. 4 sets, but despite getting through that 4th set, they did fall short to Colorado State. So they finished their season 14-7 overall. That is the end, but a great year to look ahead to next. Now let's go ahead and go on over to men's water polo now, where again, we previewed them last week, where they're headed to the WCC Championship. That was our marquee matchup last time, if you remember, and they dominated, just like we talked about, where they outstanding again against Air Force 16-4. They move on to Pepperdine, another rematch where they dominated in the semis 14-10. Then they move on another rematch against Cal Baptist University, where despite battling, they fell short in the finals 13-8. While that is the end of the season, they have something to be very proud of. That is 17 wins on the season for this team. That is the most wins for the program since the program was reinstated in 2015. Now, let's go ahead and move on over to women's basketball, where they are on a 2-game win streak. Every game counts. That's great for morale. They took down St. Mary's last night in a gritty battle, 51-46. After that win, they moved to 6-3 overall. And after that, they go ahead and this Saturday at 1 o'clock, they're hosting Loyola Marymount. So they're looking to make that win streak a 3-game win streak. Now, let's go ahead and go over to the biggest thing we look forward to every week, I know I do, it's Tyler's marquee matchup. It's the game you don't want to miss. It's a crucial one. I'm going to tell you why. It's our Spartans football. We have them, like we previewed last time, they took on Stanford, where they beat them 34-31, a close margin. And a big reason to mention out of that is that's their first win against Stanford since 2006, something to be proud of. Out of that win, something else was accomplished. Nick Nash set the single-season touchdown reception record of 16. He's the 4th player in the FBS. He's a triple crown in receptions, yards, and touchdowns. They are now headed to the Hawaii Bowl, and they're going to dominate. Like you see Nick Nash here against Stanford last week. He's getting it done. Nick, tell me DeVito. There it is. Absolutely. He dominated against Stanford. So this is what we need to do in the Hawaii Bowl against South Florida University. That game is going to be Tuesday, December 24th, Christmas Eve. Let's have Christmas come early for those Spartans and get it done in that bowl game. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been your Update News Sports Wrap. Back to the desk.
Thanks, Tyler. I know I look forward to your marquee matchup every week. Moving towards Caltrain, Caltrain retired their diesel locomotives and gallery cars earlier in August. Just recently, it was announced what would happen to the old fleet.
When they were retired, the cars were transported to Sonoma County to be stored. Caltrain kept the cars in good condition, so they contacted cities across the country in search of buyers.
Somewhat out of the blue, we were contacted by an American company that was representing the government of Lima, Peru.
The city of Lima is starting its first commuter line. The city was the only potential buyer interested in all 90 passenger cars and 19 locomotives. Some cars are stored along the route, such as here by PayPal Park. The cars were sold for $6.33 million. The city of Lima is responsible for the transport of the cars. Caltrain expects to move the cars to the ports of Oakland, where they'll be taken down the coast by ship.
It will reduce traffic and congestion. It will give more people more options to get where they need to go faster, more efficiently.
Really, these trains being able to continue to be in service is the best case scenario. That's what we want to see. That's what rail fans want to see. That's what Peru wants to see. It's a win across the board for everybody.
With the purchase, Caltrain can now focus solely on their electric fleet. Caltrain doesn't own the rails south of Tamian and can't install the logistics to run their electric trains there. It's looking to develop a battery-powered train to solve the issue, expected to launch around 2028. The situation benefits all parties, and these classic cars will continue to transport passengers. In San Jose, Sean Robertson, Update News.
The Department of Art and Art History at San Jose State held an event on Tuesday. It is a way for universities and people working together to give diversity and knowledge. Reporter Larry Larkin has the story.
Students from inside the Department of Art and Art History and members of the community got to spend time inside the student galleries on Tuesday night. It was a way for people to look at the work students showcased and as part of a bigger series of events. Students showcased their work of art as a way to spread any kind of message they see fit. One student I spoke with did work that relates to nature.
The whole purpose of the work is to showcase the commodification of nature and how governments have prioritized creating new buildings and destroying nature.
Another student I talked to did artwork in a theme of vulnerability.
For my artwork, I really wanted to represent how we should be embracing vulnerability and how whatever we create, it should be an extension of ourselves.
The art department typically brings in guest speakers from outside the university to give students a chance to learn new things about the art world. This week, that guest speaker was Dr. Ciara Ennis, who is the director of the Siseth Museum at Santa Clara University. One reason for having someone not from San Jose State University speak is to exchange ideas and hear different perspectives.
It's very important for us to exchange perspectives, points of view, and to have conversations. We bring in speakers from other universities so that they can broaden our perspectives.
Update News requested an interview with Dr. Ciara but declined our request. At San Jose State, Larry Larkin, Update News.
As the semester has come to a close, we take a moment to reflect on the past. In this week's State of the Spartans with reporter Mohammed Najimi.
Welcome to State of the Spartans. My name is Mohammed Najimi. Let's go and find out what San Jose State students were most proud of this semester.
A major accomplishment that I've had this semester is I've been meditating a lot, actually. I've been getting more into mindfulness and sort of spirituality.
This semester was getting my internship at Soto County Sheriff's Office.
Looking back, I'm most proud about starting my flight training for my aviation major. It's been incredible. It's been really fun.
I would say showing up on time. I haven't always had the best track record, so I show up on time now.
Made new friends, new social connections. I think what's also different is that I'm taking more classes that apply to my interests.
Starting to table on 7th Street for a club called SJSU Dawa. So this club, we kind of go out every Wednesday, and just on 7th Street, we just kind of call out to people.
It's a winter wonderland at downtown San Jose's Christmas in the Park, and you can definitely feel the Christmas spirit there. But organizers are uncertain about the future after losing major sponsors. What lies ahead for Christmas in the Park? Our reporter Isabella Alvarez went to find out.
Christmas in the Park continues for its 43rd year in a row, opening last weekend at the Plaza de Cesar Chavez. Its festive decorations, activities, and vendors drawing people from outside of the Bay to come visit. But organizers are struggling to figure out what to bring back for next year. With major donors backing out, the nonprofit will be short $100,000.
I really do hope that more people come out to this year's event, so I think it's going till January or something like that. But definitely support the vendors here. Definitely support I think there's going to be a car light show.
For years, Christmas in the Park has been able to fund the experience with the money received from donations and activities at the park. The drive-through light show will be returning this year with over a mile of lights to see. The money received will go towards funding for Christmas in the Park in 2025. More than 90% of the overall budget comes from fundraising efforts, so the experience can be free to the public.
The idea of Christmas in the Park is really cool because I'm not from SJ, so this is really new to me, and I think it's a really great way to incorporate the community.
Without the funds, Christmas in the Park won't be able to make renovations to their displays. They might need to cut staff and possibly cut some events. But the managing director says that the park has faced more difficult financial situations, and she is certain that they can overcome this one as well.
Our funding comes from people who grew up here. People who grew up here, started a business here, and they have roots here. Those are the people who really step up and contribute and make us thrive. And those are the people that are really part of our family.
The organization anticipates about 700,000 attendees this year. They hope that they will either make donations or purchase a ticket to the drive-through light show. In San Jose, I'm Isabella Alvarez, Update News.
Looking for something to do this weekend? Reporter Vincent Rapina may have some ideas for you in his Weekend Roundup.
Welcome back to Vincent's Weekend Roundup. Christmas in the park has begun. The over 40-year tradition is back at the Plaza de Cesar Chavez in downtown San Jose. There are many exhibits and entertainments to enjoy, many of which are free. Christmas in the Park is a non-profit organization that is mainly supported from fundraising and donation. Moving on, Enchant Christmas returns to PayPal Park this year. Experience the world's largest Christmas light maze, the ice skating trail, and more. Be smart when choosing when to go, as ticket prices vary throughout the day. And finally, Polar Playdays at the Tech Interactive. This family-friendly event offers a blend of activities, experiments, and adventures. Kids will have the chance to explore the magic and science of the winter and the holiday season. That's it for this week's Vincent's Weekend Roundup. Now back to the desk.
And that does it for this week's edition of Update News.
From all of us here, thanks for coming and watching us this semester. Make sure to follow us at our socials at SJSU Update News, and we'll see you next semester. Woo!